Good morning everyone. Welcome to the video tutorial of class 6 science. So students, in our last video we were discussing about lesson number 3, that is fiber to fabric, in which we have already discussed about fibers, types of fibers, natural, synthetic, mixed fibers, and also we have discussed about the natural fiber, that is cotton. We have already discussed about uses of cotton, cultivation of cotton. Okay, and now in this video we will discuss about our next natural fiber, that is jute. Okay, so we will continue with jute. Jute is obtained from the stem of the jute plant. It is a plant fiber which is obtained from the stem of the jute plant, and India and Bangladesh are the major producers of jute in the world. And it is grown in rainy season. Okay, so jute fiber is grown in rainy season, or jute plant is grown in rainy season, and the jute plant needs a plain alluvial soil and standing water. Cotton needs black soil and jute plant needs alluvial soil. And in India, West Bengal, Bihar and Assam are the major producers of jute. The jute plant is normally harvested when it is at flowering stage. So the jute plant is harvested when it is at flowering stage, and the stem of these harvested plants are then bundled and immersed in water for few days until they start rotting, and the process is known as retting. So these harvested plants are bundled and immersed in water for few days until they start rotting, and after that the fibers are separated by hand from these rotting stem, and the process is known as stripping. So the plants are cut during the flowering stage. They are cut during the flowering stage, and it is because the good quality jute is obtained from its stem only at this stage. Okay, as otherwise the stem becomes very hard and it is very difficult to remove fibers from it. That is why they are cut during the flowering stage, and the cut jute plants are then left in the field for a few days so that the leaves dry and fall off. Okay, and when dried they are tied up in small bundles soaked in stagnant pond water and left there for about 20 days. All right, and why these stems are immersed in water? They are immersed in stagnant water actually. And why these are immersed in stagnant water? Because in stagnant water bacteria grow well, and the gummy matter that holds the jute fibers to the inner part of the stem is eaten away by that bacteria, and that the process is known as retting. Okay, so in retting, the inner part of the jute stem is eaten away by the bacteria, and it softens the tissues and allow the jute fibers to be separated from the stem. All right, and these jute fibers are separated from the retted jute stems by the husk, and they are pulled by hand actually. Okay, so they are pulled by manually, and the fibers so obtained are dried in the sun, and after that they tied into small bundles, and after that these jute fibers are pressed into bales and transported to the mills, and there they are spun and woven into textile at the mills. All right, and there are so many uses of jute yarn is used for making gunny bags, for making sacks, for wrapping packages. Also these types of bags are made from jute. These types of bags are also made from jute fiber. High quality jutes are woven into curtains, carpets, chair coverings and packing also. Okay, they are used for the packing of linoleum. And today fashionable shopping bags, table mats, jute beads and jewelry also are available in the market. Okay, jute jewelry is, or the jewelry made from the jute beads are also available in the market. So there are so many uses of jute. and these jute seeds are sown in March or April during the rainy season. Okay, so this is all about the jute. Now the next type of fibers are animal fibers. So first animal fibers is wool. They are known as animal fibers because they are obtained from animals. So wool is obtained from the sheep, goat, rabbit, yak and camel. Okay, and in this process, first of all, the hair or the thin layer of the skin of these animals is removed, and the process is known as shearing. Okay, so the process of removing the thin layer or the hair of sheep, goat, rabbit, yak or camel, the process is known as shearing. And in this process we get this wool, and this wool is obtained for making warm clothes such as sweaters, caps, shawls, gloves and blankets also. And wool is used to make these warm clothes because it is very warm and it protects us from the cold, snow and winters. Okay, so this is about wool. So in many countries sheep are reared, and in many parts of our country also, like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal or Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan and Gujarat, sheep are reared. Okay, so after rearing, the major steps necessary to process wool from the sheep to the fabric are shearing, cleaning, scouring, grading, sorting, carding, spinning, weaving and finishing. Okay, so the first process is shearing. Okay, so in the processing of making wool, the first step is shearing. In this process the sheep are sheared to remove the fleece. You can see here also in this diagram the sheep are sheared to remove the fleece, and after that these fleece is baled for transport to the mill. Okay, and after that this fleece is washed to remove the dirt. So this is the third step. Okay, and after cleaning, the next step is carding. So what happens in carding? In carding, the carding machine combs the loose wool fibers and form a sheet. So in this process the loose fibers convert into a sheet. Okay, with the help of these carding machine. All right, now after carding, the sheet is twisted into a rope which is also known as silver. Okay, all right, and this silver is stretched and twisted into a thin yarn. All right, so in this way we get a yarn from the fleece of the animals. All right, and this yarn is wound to form balls of the wool. So this is the ball of a wool. So in this process we get wool from the fleece of animals like sheep, goat, rabbit, yak or camel. So this is all about the processing of wool. Now our next fiber is silk. So our next animal fiber is silk. We get silk from the silkworm which lives on the leaves of mulberry plant. So silkworm lives on the leaves of the mulberry plant, and the larva of the silk moth secretes a sticky fluid which becomes silk fiber. So from where we get the silk is obtained from the larva of the silkworm which secrete a sticky fluid which becomes silk fiber, and the larva then covers its body with silk fiber and turns into pupa, and this protecting covering is known as cocoon. All right, so we get silk from the silkworm which lives on the mulberry plant, and the larva of the silk moth secretes a sticky fluid which becomes the silk fiber. The larva then covers its body with silk fiber and then turns into a pupa. Okay, and this protective covering is also known as cocoon. Okay, and these cocoons these cocoons are then boiled in water to get the silk fibers. All right, so in this way we get the silk fiber from the silkworm. And you know one more thing, that these cocoons are boiled alive. Okay, when these cocoons are boiled, they are still alive. Isn't it sad? You know that 6,600 silkworms are killed to make just 1 kg of silk, which is just not so good. And these silkworms are boiled here, which are still alive, which is also very bad. So silk fiber is obtained from the silkworm, and it is a very costly fiber and has a very fine quality. So it is very expensive also, and not affordable for everyone. All right. So this is all about silk. Now, uses of silk. Okay, so raw silk is used for clothing such as shirts, suits, ties, blouses, jackets. Okay, and hand spun mulberry silk is used for making sleeping bags, and other variety is used for making chiffon, satin. They are made from the mulberry silk and used for making sarees also. Okay, cushion covers and sofa covers also, wall hanging also. And the knitted material from the silk fibers are used for making socks, which are very costly, stockings, and other market products. Okay, and the process of cultivating silkworms and extracting silk from them is also known as sericulture. So what we call that process, the process is known as sericultures. Okay, sericulture. And this silk farming or the sericulture is the cultivation of silkworm to produce silk. Silk is actually a protein fiber. All right, because it is obtained from the cocoon, and cocoon is also contains some proteins. So today India and China are the two main producers of silk, and sericulture has become an important cottage industry in many countries such as Brazil, France, Italy, Japan, Korea, Russia, and China and India also. Okay, India and China are producing more than 60% of the world's annual production of silk. And these silk are of four types mainly: mulberry silk, eri silk, tussar silk, and muga silk. Okay, so mainly there are four types of silk: mulberry silk, eri silk, tussar silk, and muga silk. And out of these, mulberry silk is very expensive, because it is also known as natural silk, and it is obtained from the silk moth. All right, so this is how we get the clothes from the fibers. So we get fibers from the plants, we get fibers from the plants, animals, and from the chemicals. uh, and after spinning, we these fibers are converted into yarns, and the yarn is converted into fabric after the process of weaving and knitting. And from these fabric, after stitching, we get different types of clothes. So first of all, we will conclude that how we get clothes from these fibers. Okay, so we get fibers from the plant animal and the chemical sources, and we get yarns from these fibers, and these yarns are converted into fabrics, and fabrics are used to make different types of clothes. Okay, so this is how we get different types of clothes from different fibers. All right, now we will discuss our last topic, that is history of clothing material. All right, so the early man did not know much about clothes. Okay, and early man used big leaves and bark of trees, animal skin or fur to cover their bodies. Okay, they also wore the animal skin and wrapped fur around their bodies to keep themselves warm during the winter season. And when it is rained or when the weather became cold, so they wore animal skin and wrapped fur around their bodies to keep themselves warm. And gradually, as the man's knowledge of his environment increased, so there was a desire for more comfortable ways of living. And the most important discovery that led to a change in their pattern of life was knowing how to grow plants and how to grow grains. And this was the beginning of the agriculture. All right, and man later developed the technique for spinning and weaving clothes from the fluffy substances of the cotton plant. And when the sewing needle was invented, people learned how to stitch fibers to make fabrics, and stitched clothes have gone through many variations since this invention. Okay, and after settling in agriculture communities, man learned to weave. So after the beginning of the agriculture, man learned to weave, and they start weaving grass to eggs, animal hairs, vines into long strands, which were then woven into fabrics. And after that, man became aware about the plant fibers. The early Indian also wore fabric made out of the cotton. And in ancient Egypt, cotton as well as flax were also used for making different types of fabrics. But in those days, stitching was not known, it was unknown. Okay, so what the people did, people simply draped the fabrics around their bodies. Okay, so even today also, unstitched clothes like saris, dhotis, lungis or turbans are widely in use. And when the sewing needle was invented, so people learn how to stitch fibers to make different fabrics. Okay, and stitched clothes have gone through many variations since this invention. Okay, so this is the history of the clothing material. All right, so with this we have completed this chapter, and in this chapter we have discussed about the fibers, like different types of fibers: natural fibers, synthetic fibers and mixed fibers. Also we have discussed about the advantages and disadvantages of natural and synthetic clothes. And we have also discussed about cotton, uses of cotton, cultivation of cotton, and processing of cotton. Also we have also discussed the so many processes like ginning, pressing, spinning, weaving. And we have discussed about jute, cultivation of jute and the processing of jute, uses of jute. We have also discussed about the animal fibers like silk and wool. All right, now this is the end of the chapter, and our last topic is history of the clothing material. So I hope you all have understood this chapter. Okay, so this is a very easy chapter of your syllabus. Okay, and so with this we have completed this chapter. Thank you, and see you in the next video.